So hi guys, today we're gonna see how to install Docker on Windows 11 or 10, any Windows at all. So what you're gonna do is click and open your Google Chrome and you can go ahead and search Docker. So once you search Docker, you get to a page like this where you go and select the Docker desktop option, and here, so you don't need an account for Docker, but it does provide you with additional features if you do have one. So I would suggest that you have an account ready. But now for the download, you can go ahead and select Windows AMD 64 for your Windows PC and ARM 64 for any Windows that is on an ARM PC. These are like the new ones that are coming up right now. So I'm gonna go with the AMD 64 because that's the one that I use. So once you finish downloading the file, you should have it on your downloads. Yep, just give me 1 second, let me just see. Now it should be Docker desktop installer. So before you install it, we're gonna enable some features that Docker requires, which is like your requirements for Docker. So if at all you have not enabled virtualization on your PC, you should do it through the BIOS, but most PCs these days they come with virtualization enabled. But if your PC is like an old one that you're going to use it for the Docker containers and everything, so I think you should go into your BIOS and see if there is an option called virtualization, and if it shows disabled, just enable it. To go into your BIOS, it's usually the F2 button, just in case if you guys don't know that. So once that is done, you can click on the start menu and type in turn Windows features on or off. So that is the one that you're looking for. Click on that and let it populate the list. Once that's done, we're going to look for two features. So one is called the Hyper-V. It's the feature that enables the virtualization environment on Windows. So just go ahead and click and enable Hyper-V. And the next thing that you want is the Windows subsystem for Linux. Yeah, so that's the one that's going to be your subsystem for your Docker. So go ahead and click on OK. So what Windows is going to do is search for those required files and download those files so that it can install it. Once that is done, it's going to ask you to reboot your laptop or PC so that the changes are applied. Now it's going to give you an option to restart now or don't restart. I would suggest that you go ahead and restart, but I've installed those features before, so I'm just going to go ahead and continue with it. So once you've finished restarting, you go ahead to your Docker installation file that you downloaded, which is there in the location that you downloaded. So I'm going to double click on it, and it's going to give you a pop-up. Once you double click on the Docker desktop, you're going to get a user control dialog box, which is going to ask you if you give permissions for Docker installer to run. I'm going to go ahead with yes, and once you hit yes, the Docker installer should be running. We just need to wait for the installer to run, and yes, there we go. So what it's gonna do is it's gonna verify your package, and it's gonna extract all the files that are needed. So configuration, use WSL2 instead of Hyper-V recommend. So Hyper-V is what we enabled. That is in case if WSL2 does not work on your system. So that is like a backup option that we have enabled, but since you're going to select these two options, it should be installing your latest one. So the extractor is going to extract all the files from the installer, so that all you have to do is just wait now. Now this is going to take a while depending on your specifications of your PC, so please be patient until it's extracted completely. Also, another thing is The Docker desktop will store any container files onto your local disk C, which is going to be your default installation location. But there's always a workaround where you can try to symlink your local disk C to a different drive. So that will be done and shown in a different video for you guys. But when Docker is installed, it does go into your C drive. So once your installation is done, it's gonna install your Docker completely, and you can close and restart to complete the installation. So once we've finished restarting the PC, you can go ahead and double click on Docker. Give it some time and you should be given a prompt of yes and no, and once you go with it, click accept to agree to the terms, and your Docker should give you options now. So go ahead and select use recommended settings and hit finish. So once Docker starts, it's gonna give you an option to log into the Docker account that I spoke about earlier. So you can either log into that or go ahead and click on the skip part to skip the process of logging in. For me, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't make a huge difference, so feel free to skip it. So once you go into the skipping part, and you should be able to see the Docker engine is stopped. Yeah, so as you can see, it shows Docker engine stopped. So feel free to go ahead and type in cmd into your start menu. So once you have your command prompt open, you should be able to check the status of your WSL, which is required to start the Docker engine. So type in WSL. See, there you go. It says finishing an upgrade. That's probably why your Docker isn't starting. So now what you can do is check what version of WSL is installed. You can do that by typing in WSL --status, and it should load up and show you what version of WSL is running on your PC. Yeah, there you go. Your version is 2. So that's the version that is required to run Docker. So now since the upgrade is complete, you should see that the Docker engine is starting by itself. So it takes a while, give it some time, and once it's ready, there you go. Now you can start running your own containers. If you did like the video, hit the like option and the subscribe button. Do leave any comments below.